Freddy's Nightmares. Tommy's been asking for this for so long, and we just couldn't deny you any longer, my friend.
And Tommy Click got to pick the episode that we wound up doing called Trixie or Treatsy. It's actually called Tricks or Treat.
Tricks and Treats.
Whatever.
You stupid bitch.
I don't give a shit about the and. I'm a rebel.
Trick or treat!
Directed by Ken Wiederhorn, who actually directed...
what's his last name?
Return of the Living Dead Part 2.
What's his last name?
Ken Wiederhorn.
Oh, I think you said Wienerhorn.
That'd be better.
You said Wiener.
It'd be cooler if you did.
Ask me about my wiener!
You know, I've never seen an episode of Freddy's Nightmares.
I remember watching it once, long time ago.
I've never seen it. I've heard about it. I heard about it in the documentary that they did, Never Sleep Again. I heard them talk about it. I heard it mentioned before, and they also did a series on Friday the 13th, which sometimes I guess also didn't include Jason in it. And I guess
it was weird. It kind of came out around the same time.
Yeah, it's a weird piece of history that they did this, and I've never delved into it. But today we each watched that episode of it, and you know, I gotta say, for as many problems as it has, it is pretty fucking wild to think that there's 2 seasons of TV episodes that features Robert Englund as Freddy that no one pays attention to.
I think it was pretty cool the fact that they got away with as much as they did on syndicated television. Like the gore effects are pretty damn good. Like you know, it's not the best in the world. It's not the cinema version of Freddy Krueger. Nonetheless, it's still done really well or effectively. The documentary Never Sleep Again, which you can find on YouTube for free, it does dive in a bit into it. Like the thing about Freddy's Nightmares is that they wanted to do a lot more with it, I think, back in the day, and they ran out of money. It just didn't really have the production value for it to sustain itself for as long as it did. Now, I think that Robert Englund actually liked it a lot, and he liked the premise of it. The idea being that it's a part of an anthology series, and Freddy Krueger would introduce it, and he would have an epilogue, and he would be a part of some of the episodes, which is a really badass idea. And I think he said, actually, in the documentary of Never Sleep Again, was that he was looking at a twisted version of Twilight Zone, and that's what they were going for, and you can see it. Yeah. And you can see definitely those elements playing itself out throughout this particular episode anyway.
Stick that in your VCR. Suck on it.
We got a little bookworm, a sexy one. She's very hot. Even back in the day, I don't care. She's got
Marsha.
Marsha looks sexual.
Mariska Hargitay.
But she is a good-looking girl, and she's a bookworm, and she's all about studying. She has to pass her anatomy test, and then annoying blonde-haired boy that looks like he's part of Cobra Kai comes in and says, "You gotta get out of those books. Come downstairs and drink and have premarital sex with your peers."
He's the 80s version of Trent from the Friday the 13th reboot.
I liked it.
Your tits are so juicy, bro.
I loved it. She's really obsessed with getting a passing grade on her anatomy exam, and she goes down and studies a cadaver after she bypasses the party downstairs, which, how can you do that, okay? They had keggers. They had pony kegs. I'm sure that thing was loaded with Milwaukee's best.
The good stuff.
God damn. I can understand why you bypassed it. But she goes down there, and that's when you meet a security guard. He mentions Freddy Krueger. She makes fun of Freddy Krueger. And that's when the wild shenanigans begin with Freddy Krueger invading her dreams and fucking with her.
And a pretty cool part about it is that it's based in Springwood. So when she's talking to all these people, they're like, "Come on, it's Halloween, come party with us." And she's like, "Why? It's not a big deal in Detroit." And they're like, "Well, it is in Springwood." And they mention Halloween several times. There's even a pumpkin mask that takes place, and there's a couple actually cool scenes.
She looked like Halloween 3.
It was the pumpkin mask from Halloween 3, not exactly, but looked like it. And at one point, it actually, in one of her dream states, it gets stuck on her face, and there's a pretty cool scene where she's trying.
That reminded me of the mask from Goosebumps.
Or just the mask. Like, I can't see with this thing on. But she's trying to squeeze the mask off, and she's like scratching her skin, and it's pretty bleeding around the mask. But it looks like the pumpkin mask from Halloween 3. But also, this episode doesn't only reference Halloween and isn't just based on Halloween. But in the very beginning of the episode, the dude that tries to sneak into a room is wearing one of those shitty dollar store Jason masks as well. So they almost, in a weird way, touch on all 3 of the real big franchises with obviously Freddy, both Halloween and Jason in this, and that's kind of neat. Honestly, I was shocked as shit to see Freddy appear when Robert Englund
was it something I said? Boo.
When he first appears, there's a cadaver and he carves Boo into the cadaver's head.
Scared the fuck out of me.
But then you see a quick shot of Freddy standing over it, like, you know. And I was genuinely shocked, based on the production value of everything else, to see Robert Englund in Freddy makeup show up.
Must have been something I said.
Just enough he would appear over a corpse, or to say one line real quick, or just really fast. And also in little like in the middle of the episode, there was he had a little Tales from the Crypt type monologue, but Freddy would only appear just enough, and you could sense that it didn't jive with the rest of the episode. Well, you could sense that they were filmed in different times, and it shows.
Yeah, and well, you know, it was still cool to see him.
Exactly. That was the thing. I was shocked to see him.
I love it. It was fucking Robert Englund, man, and he was in the goddamn makeup, and that's exactly in the costume.
Why it's worth it at all.
Because it's fucking Robert Englund. Like, he actually did a TV show, and he was a star in it. Like, that was really cool. This series also had great directors and writers. Bob Shea says that anybody that wanted to write it could write it. Anybody that wanted to be in it could be in it. If you wanted to direct it, you could direct it. It was the Wild West. It was film school for a lot of people, but the wraparound stuff for Robert Englund, because they didn't want, you know, how long it takes to get in and out of the makeup, they would run to one set and film all the stuff with Freddy and then run back and do the main episode. So that's why it felt so discombobulated, I think. But nonetheless, it's fucking Robert Englund, and he's in it, and it's so badass, and it's cool. It was still a cool idea, and I feel like, again, if the production had been a little bit more solid, if they had had a little bit more time to work out certain things on the set, it would have been a solid series overall. But this episode, it's not bad.
What big eyes you have. Come to Granny.
He's scary in some ways, but then at the same time, he'll make you laugh, and he'll say some fucked up weird shit off the wall stuff, and you're like, oh. He's like, do you like Butterfingers, bitch? And then he'll stick Butterfinger in your twat. I don't know.
Honestly, like, you expected the Freddy line. They didn't land like they do in the movies, but he had a couple of classic Robert Englund as Freddy lines.
He felt like Robert Englund felt like he was having fun.
Yeah, he did.
That's what it. Yeah.
And it was really good when he would show up on camera. But the thing is, naming it Freddy's Tricks and Treats, it was perfect example of it, because the whole first half of this is just Freddy fucking with her. Like, she would go around a corner and she would see a hat, and then it would be a skull, and it would come to life, and then she would wake up till she goes crazy. Then she goes crazy, and then these two psych students come up, kind of like Bill Murray's in Ghostbusters. Yeah. Comes up, and he's like, oh, I can use this. This will make me famous. That's when they start tracking her dreams, and he wants to bring her dreams to life and show her dreams on this TV screen.
As an effort to...
Right, but it just none of it's tight enough to really land, but there's some good ideas in it.
Yeah, it was great, and I think that's where it comes back to the discombobulation that's going on through most of the episode, and I think that the episodes in general suffer from that. It's like, it just didn't feel connected. Robert Englund says that the production team that was with Freddy's Nightmare left and went to work on Tales from the Crypt. And it blew the fuck up. Yeah. And you know, it's because the Tales from the Crypt came on HBO, and they had money. They had opportunities to work and do things that they wanted to do, and they're like, okay, that's why it did so well, and that's what Freddy's Nightmares was supposed to be. And also, he'll mention that the syndication was so fucked up and all over the place. Like, he's like, we were supposed to, you know, Robert Englund says this, quote, we were supposed to come on late at night, and we were gonna have this, you know, crazy fucked up Twilight Zone thing. And then what happens is that when it gets released to syndication and it goes to different networks, you know, they put us on at 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the night or in the afternoon in the Bible Belt. That's where they got released, and then people are like, fucking burn in hell, you son of a bitch, get Jesus.
The mark of the beast.
Oh my God.
Sometimes you would see Freddy want to be sadistic, and I could sense, like, there was points where he would grab someone's face, and it would look like his hand is going to go into someone's eyes and fuck them up, but it would go off camera real quick. They did not want to show any gore, so like, you would get the essence of Freddy at times, and you would get the fear of Freddy.
But they got away with a lot, though.
Yeah, they did, but you would even get a couple one-liners. But when it came to the point of actually showing the death,
2 for 1 day.
I'm in your dream.
You said we'd go in together.
clipped off a scream real quick, and you could sense that this could air after Saved by the Bell somewhere, and it just didn't land the way it needed to land.
Can you imagine watching this shit, like you watch Saved by the Bell, and then Power Rangers, and then this fucking show right before you go to school?
I can see him trying to throw this shit on.
Like all combination, like I'm gonna be a hero, and I'm gonna like love you, and then I'm gonna beat the fuck out of you all the time.
Darkwing Duck, all right. So yeah,
let's get dangerous.
But ultimately, like, so we reviewed one episode, but it's kind of a microcosm of what I feel like the entire series would be like. But I do gotta say, first off, Tommy, man,
thank you, man.
Yeah, dude, you're cool, man. I really appreciate your love for the channel, and you know, we love you, buddy. We hope you're doing fucking awesome, man, and I hope you enjoyed this. But I also do want to say that if you're a person who's really hankering for some more Robert Englund as Freddy, this isn't perfect, but it's a place to go and get it. There was when Freddy came up on screen for the first time, I was like, "Whoa!"
It's amazing.
Like, it was so cool to see him. And I've seen it's like seeing a Freddy sequel you've never seen before, and it's a really weird feeling.
It's like if you were walking down the street and you just happened to run into Robert Englund wearing the makeup. You're like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, fuck that Goldberg shit.
The fuck?
This was there was for most
like you'd be like,
for most horror fans, there's 2 seasons of Freddy out there that you've never watched Robert Englund portray him as, and it's a wild thing. Even though the show's not that great, to see Freddy doing Freddy, it's like, oh my god, this exists and I didn't know. It's worth checking out.
And not to mention the fact that you can tell overall that Robert Englund is having a blast playing Freddy Krueger, and that's what you want. That's what you want from any actor, is who's enjoying their role and he's enjoying the fuck out of it. And you can see that he wanted to be something more, but nonetheless he's putting all the effort in, and it's still Freddy Krueger. It might be a little bit more tamed than you want, but nonetheless, it's still fucking Freddy Krueger, so it's really cool to see.
We love your fucking faces. If you're new to the channel, click that subscribe button and get some goddamn wham up in you. Sneaky, sneaky berserker.
What he's doing right now is the berserker moment of the Weapon X program. This is Wolverine losing control and going ape shit. That was the poorest attempt of a...
want to suck my cock?
Berserker! Would you like to make fucky berserker?
Hey!
We watched a movie. Yeah. We watched a movie. We watched it. We watched a movie. Yeah. You know what? We did a review. We watched a movie. We watched a movie.